Hi, everyone. I'm Stevie Chancellor. I'm an assistant professor in computer science. I'm also a former debater, so I'm excellent at keeping to time. So let's get started. So the work that I do is an interesting intersection between human-computer interaction and computer science. Broadly speaking, I do work on building AI systems that can infer when people are going through mental health challenges using digital data. Most of what I've done has been on social media and on search, but I'm also interested in data that's generated by the use of your technology like smartphones. So HCI is a research area within computer science. It's this really interesting area because it's interdisciplinary. It takes a lot of inspiration clearly from the systems building and evaluations of computer science, but also from psychology, social and org psych, as well as design. Now, generative AI, you might think is over here. It's by itself over in machine learning land. My images are not loading, which is fine. Up there, you would see a little head screenshot of me saying that I like to sit in the middle between generative AI and HCI. There we go, great. And so when I actually was reflecting on this report, I started looking at all the ways that generative AI is impacting the work that I do. I've been doing this work since the start of my dissertation in 2014. And so generative AI has turned a lot of the principles we have about how you build machine learning to detect well-being, as well as how you might intervene in it through social media or other digital tech on its head. So aspects that are really relevant to me include learning with multimodal data, like using images, videos, and text from social media, transfer learning and applying general principles about mental health to specific use cases in social media and digital tech, as well as handling rare cases and explainability. But given that I do HCI research, a lot of what I think about is how people use generative AI systems. Thus, Aryan and Vipin, I'm sorry, but I actually made a little modification to your list of things by including human-centered considerations of how people might use generative AI. So I'm going to nominate that we add an 8th category here for consideration. And what I want to explore is some of these human-centered considerations when it comes to using AI for inference of mental health. I like to think of myself as a use-driven researcher. I really care about improving well-being, but I'm also incredibly motivated by producing new and awesome tech. And a lot of interesting scientific things I care about are from this use-inspired scenario of mental health prediction. So underneath the scientific problems, we have a lot of interesting challenges about measurement, specifically how you make valid and reliable inferences of well-being using digital data. I'm also really interested in how you might use generative AI for synthetic data generation of people's data sources. It's pretty difficult to get high-quality labels, but there's a lot of perils that come with using synthetically generated data when it comes to representing a diverse set of experiences and the heterogeneity of symptoms that people have when they're experiencing mental illness or crisis. There's also really interesting challenges with hallucinations and faithful knowledge representations. When you learn a bunch of stuff off of Reddit and social media, generative AI has the habit of spitting out really bad advice about what you should do when you're unwell. And that is a huge risk when it comes to using these models for supporting people and their well-being. I'm also interested in issues about the temperament and personality of models and how you might modify that to give better advice when you deploy these into chatbots. For example, overly agreeable or sycophantic models may not actually challenge cognitive distortions or things that people think that they believe to be true when they're experiencing well-being challenges. The last thing I'm really interested in, and I haven't explored much, and so I'd be really curious about collaborating on this, is mining large data sets for therapeutic insights using generative AI as a source. We know that there's a lot of potential within the social media and digital data for us to know new kind of therapeutic insights or things that we might use to improve mental health care and well-being. But I'm also interested in the HCI sense of socio-technical problems, the interesting interactions that come when humans use generative AI systems and chatbots. Things like responsible deployment. How do you understand how to make decisions about well-being? And how do you understand people's cognition as it changes when they use generative AI systems? I'm also really interested in questions about AI safety, trust, and over-reliance when it comes to people using chatbots or other AI-assisted tools to receive care for mental health. And I just put a little thing up here about ethics. There's a ton of issues about data sharing, skilling, labor displacement, and using AI as stand-in therapists that we can have lots of long conversations about. The last thing that I'll mention is I was asked to also mention some funding opportunities. So this is one example of a funding opportunity we're chasing this week. This is a funding opportunity from Wellcome Trust, which is a UK international charity that one of their focus areas is in mental health. And this is a up to 2 million pounds, so I guess 2.5 or 2.6 million USD opportunity to build and deploy generative AI systems for anxiety, depression, and psychosis. And so we have a team that is we're submitting to this on May 28th to join their incubator to submit to the larger project. We're thinking about building a journaling or dialogue system tool for people to use to help improve their well-being, powered by generative AI, which gets into some of the issues we had about reliability and validity, but also about hallucinations as well as sycophancy and not, say, prompting people too aggressively or not. And so if you're interested in supporting this, we don't have room right now on the current proposal because it has to go to SPA like tomorrow, I learned last Friday. But there will be opportunities during the incubator stage, which will happen during the fall semester. And I would really be interested if some folks are interested in collaborating on this. That being said, I think I'm the last one and close enough to being on time.